Hey everybody, thanks for joining. For those that I don't know, my name is Zach Posner. I'm a co-founder and managing partner at the LegalTech Fund. I am excited to have Phil here with us from an early portfolio company of ours, Nexl, and it's been amazing to see you, Phil, and the journey of Nexl over the past couple of years. And I'm sure everybody's going to enjoy hearing about it. But thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Zach. Thanks so much for having me. Jumping right in. I love it. And
Let's
we're
do it.
live.
Let's
Really
do it.
cool.
But actually, before we go into Nexl, maybe
Sure.
and before and move away from legal tech for a second, let's start with the fun few things. Like if you weren't in legal tech, what industry do you think you'd be doing? Or do you think you'd be working in?
Oh my God, that is a good question. I think generally, I think I'm pretty adaptable, and wherever there's a good challenge, I don't think there's anything where I have a very strong passion. I didn't wake up one morning thinking I would end up in legal either, right? It just grows in you, and then you develop it. So I actually don't know. I think if it's a role after this journey would ever end, if it ever ends, I think I would just go back into in-house, into legal, into innovation.
All right, so you're
Love.
legal, born and bred. Like
I
you're
stick
here
with it.
for legal.
I stick with
Um,
it.
what's this? I've known you for the last couple of years. What's a surprising
Yeah.
fact about you that I don't know or that people wouldn't know?
I worked in a prison.
That counts. To
That
go a
counts.
little bit deeper, yeah.
I worked in a prison. I did civil service back in Austria, and I worked in the prison in the healthcare center,
Okay.
handing out drugs and things, and do drug testing and those kind of things. It was quite interesting getting the experience from inside of prison.
All
Not
right,
as an inmate, obviously, but working, which was
that seems
pretty
like
interesting.
another podcast. We're going to do that one. We're going to unpack that one. But on that note, in Australia, I know you've been spending some time in New
Yeah.
York. But if you could be anywhere in the world right now, where would you be? And no strings in that, no restrictions.
Like it's like the movie Jumper. I can just teleport.
Yes. Where would you
Um,
be and why?
can I do two jumps?
Let's
I
do
do
it.
two jumps. I would jump back to Australia to spend time with the product team. I want to give some love back to the product team, work related. I'm so boring. And then I would jump to Austria to spend some time with the family.
All right. Yeah, to be direct, they were a little bit boring with the exception of the prison one. and I guess you can say you distributed drugs in prisons before.
I
That
did.
counts.
I did. I did. And we popped them into these little jars. Like no one was controlling anything. Like I don't even know how this was all legal, but that's how it went. That's how it went down.
All
So
right, let's jump over to Nexl for a second. Maybe give
let's
a little bit of the story, and then maybe end up like how this came to be, maybe what its size and its shape looks like today.
Yeah, we started in 2018, and we thought we had a really good idea, which we realized in quite early on it wasn't that good of an idea in practice. We started as a collaboration platform for cross-border multi-jurisdictional transactions. It's a mouthful, very hard to sell. This is also why we were not able to sell it really, because I couldn't even say it on what it was. And look, we had this problem where larger firms actually do have this problem, but we were in Australia. None of these deals ever originated out of Australia. They were always either from the US or the UK. So we were in the wrong location. It was only very large firms that kind of had those matters. It's very hard to sell to them if you don't really have a product and you're just starting out. We knew it would have taken us too long to kind of make money with it. So we pivoted. And we stuck with that same kind of theme around international work and international collaboration, but thought, what can we do for smaller firms? And then we had this idea is like, hey, how about we create a referral network? Because at the end of the day, they still have clients with international demand, but they don't have any international offices, so they need a referral network. Cool, let's build that. That grew really fast. A lot of people signed up. We had like thousands of lawyers from all around the world. I think it was 153 countries part of it, but no one wanted to pay for it because obviously they had LinkedIn, right? So it was a kind of this network for lawyers, but no one wanted to really pay for it. So we failed to monetize. Then we thought, okay, we again have to pivot. What are we going to do? So we built this technology to basically have this referral platform. So we thought, how about we sell that to law firms? Try to sell that to law firms to say, hey, how about you manage your own personal referral network with this? It was during COVID as well, so we didn't know, was the market bad? Was the product bad? We realized both were bad at that time. And every single time we got really close to selling it, They said, no, it's a nice to have. We don't spend money on nice to have right now. It's COVID. But what we actually really want is a CRM. We don't want to, manage client relationships. We want to referral relationships. We want to manage client relationships. And I think after hearing it 7 times, we dropped everything we were doing and we built a CRM, and that worked. And that's what we launched in 2021, and the rest is history.
I've never heard that story. I've never heard that full story. That's actually pretty amazing.
I didn't pitch that to you. Come on.
No,
I must have.
The highlight of your pitch wasn't. Oh yeah, for the last 2 years we've been pivoting every month on something different. And maybe a little size shape today. You're obviously in New York, so you're thinking a little bit globally. Where did this start? Where did this get to?
Yeah. So we're growing pretty nicely. We have been recognized in Australia to be one of the fastest growing companies in Australia. We were number 7 of overall, and we won the software category or technology category, which was really cool. Deloitte Fast 550, I think it's called. We were in the Financial Times fast growing companies. We're doing pretty well. We're roughly around 60 people, I think. We have 120 plus law firm clients all around the world, and our staff is kind of half US or America's focused, half APAC with most of the product team, and then a few in EMEA.
And we saw the product years ago, and we said this is awesome. But I'm curious, like we thought of this as like a next generation CRM that you started seeing popping up in other verticals, but not necessarily in legal. Maybe how do you think of the product now, and how do you think of what it's supposed to do, and how do you think it differentiates from the other stack of legal software that's out there?
Well, it's still awesome. That's the first thing. How does it differentiate? So we have learned something. So when we went onto the journey to build a CRM, everyone told us the problem is data. Data is the problem. No one enters the data into the CRM. Lawyers don't enter it. And because of that, there's no value of the CRM and no one uses it. So we went on that kind of journey to solve that problem. And we did by having a no data entry CRM on how we kind of launched. This is what we called it.
Yep. That
automatically captures every single contact and enriches it for you. So you don't have to enter it. It's just there. And then it maps all of these relationships on who knows who. So we solved this data problem. But then we realized that was actually not the real problem. Just giving someone the data still did not make the difference. What the real difference is when we started building a collaboration platform on top of it, a tool that helped law firms execute and collaborate. Because even simple things like an event, there's a lot to it. And you should know, you do a very, very great event, but that's a lot of effort to kind of put together, right? And even something like this, what we're doing right now, it's an effort. And there's multiple people involved, and you need to kind of project manage it, light project management. And this is what we build on top of it. And no other solution really has that in the way and how we have kind of thought about it. So we have solved the data layer to give firms access to that important data around their client relationships, all their client engagement and everything they need. But then we build tools on top to help them execute and get work done. And that work done thing that's the thing that works.
But it was that zero. I mean, we're going back a couple of years before some of this stuff was in place, but that zero data entry construct struck us because what your implementation is literally just log in.
Yeah, basically, which doesn't always play in our favor, to be honest, because people don't believe it. And usually when you think about CRM implementation, you think about a year, 1.5 until you get value from it. And now we're already saying, okay, it takes a week to set up. And that's just because we have to connect stuff and then it syncs everything, it does it. But even a week, if we say, is like, no one believes it, right? But within a week, you can actually log in and actually already get value from it. And you can start using it. And it's also easy to use, so you don't actually need training. So, but that's a little bit hard because it's too good to be true.
Maybe you need to like intentionally slow it down. just
look. I once heard something from a manager of mine, and he actually told me that is actually some advice. Where back in the days when I did innovation within law firms, I was always an overachiever, trying to do everything as quickly as I could, possibly could. And he's like, hey, if you keep doing it that way, it becomes an expectation, and then once you miss it, it's not good. So even if you do it in 2 days, keep it for another 2 days to yourself and then give it to someone. just to get this perception thing out there. I think this is what we have to start doing for people as well. No, we won't. We want to give them value straight away.
You had a post recently on LinkedIn.
Mm.
I think you called it controversial opinion. Lawyers must be using a CRM.
Yeah.
Can you unpack that a little bit for us?
Yeah. So I was at a CMO roundtable organized by a good friend of ours, Dave Harvey. There was a group of CMOs in there, and we floated this that we believe that law firms or lawyers should use the CRM. And we got a little bit of pushback on it. And the general perception in the market is it's a marketing tool or business development team's tool. It's not actually, the lawyer shouldn't use it. And I kind of agree with them. If you think about CRM in the old way, most of the traditional CRM players, they're hardcore CRM. And the thing what you do in a CRM is clean up the data and building some lists and maybe pulling some reports.
Yeah.
Yes, lawyers shouldn't do that, right? They should not be in there cleaning up data, maybe even pulling these reports, building these lists. Marketing and BD can do that. But lawyers are still responsible for the relationships. They're responsible for growth ultimately. So they should be using something. And the way and how we describe it is they should use a tool that automatically gives them reminders, that gives them insights and intelligence about their clients before they meet them, that helps them very easily capture information like feedback, logging, feedback about meetings in the system, that it's super, super, super easy where they can just talk into it, for example, and everything else just magically happens. And tools that just remind them to stay in touch with important clients and give them these insights to say, hey, there's an opportunity to reach out to this client because they've been in the news, or there's a regulatory update and this is affecting these kind of clients what you have. Send them a message, and then make it super, super easy to actually send that message as well. So they can actually just increase their client touch points and show up better prepared and make their clients feel like they're their only clients because they're just so on top of it. A tool like that, everyone agrees, like, yeah, they should use that. It's like, yeah, but we believe a CRM should do that. So yes, everyone should use a CRM.
You may have just painted it. I mean, is that how you see the 5-year vision coming together? Kind of those interactions happening, or is there some other?
Yes,
What
definitely. So our vision, the way and how we kind of drive it or drive towards is really around, we want to put a BD assistant, a virtual one, into every lawyer's pocket at the end of the day, right? Not to get rid of BD managers, very, very important, just to allow them to focus on the higher value kind of work and also the marketers themselves, but give them access to the data in a very digestible way, make it happen within their workflow where, for example, you get a phone call and you just pick up and it's like, hey, Phil, or hey, Zach, you had a meeting this week with this and this and this client. You haven't logged anything. Do you want me to log some information? And you're just like, yeah, actually with this meeting, A and B, C, D happened, here this happened, and here this happened. It's like, thanks. And tomorrow you have this meeting. This is what you need to know. All good? Cool. Like that kind of stuff. This is what we kind of believe and where it has to go. And the CRM can do that because it has all the information. It has all of it in there. You just have to build that workflow with AI agents right now to kind of get that done. And voice, it's getting very feasible to kind of get to this point.
Are there kind of legal market trends that are influencing some of this stuff? Or are there any? I mean, or are you just kind of taking? I mean, it's not really legal correlated. It's just the best practices in every other vertical you're seeing and what's possible.
Look, I think it is best practice in every vertical as well, and what technology makes possible nowadays as well, with access to the data. And we own the data now within the system and can integrate and really have access to everything that's happening. But it's also this trend what we're seeing much, much more, which is a focus on business development. So there's a much, much stronger focus on BD rather than just marketing. Before, I think firms were very, very marketing heavy, but marketing is kind of the demand generation. And then BD is the demand capture. And they never focused as much on the BD side of things. And we see a very, very, very strong shift towards that. So a lot of people invest in data, because obviously with the AI hype, we're kind of being pushed into data is extremely important. But then the next thing is going to be workflows and getting lawyers to contribute on the firm growth very proactively. So
if we, I know technically we're kind of at time, but if we just go for a couple more questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Please.
If we go back out, like, and you're also a LegalTech founder, lots of founders, any advice you'd give them in the last couple of years and both like in thinking about constructs to going from MVP to something that's scalable? Because there's not a lot of founders that have, gotten to that trajectory that you guys are on.
Don't do it. No. If you want to be washed up like me and end up like me, then yes, do it. But who wants that life? No. Look, I think the most important thing is you should understand your buyer pretty well. And what I mean with that is more so on the technology and privacy side. I've seen too many startups fail because they've built something which from the get-go could have never been implemented in a law firm because the way and how they built it was just not fit for purpose for law firms, and they could just not say yes to it. Even if they really wanted it, they couldn't say yes. So there's just a few things around the IT side you need to know and how law firms work. That's an important part. The other thing is, as long as you build something someone wants and it solves a real problem, I don't think it's going to be a big problem for them to get there. Even if it's a clunky MVP kind of stage, people look past that and believe in the journey and then just take it step by step. Stay really close with the client, never miss that. Like I even still right now spend time with clients, even in their office, working out of their office to see how stuff is working with them. Connect with them as much as I can to get the feedback, because that instant feedback loop, you need that. And then listen and keep improving. And then one day, it's weird. It just starts accelerating. And it's super strange. Like you start and then it's hard. And then it's like, oh my God, what's happening? What's happening? And it's just completely different problems. It's all about scaling. There's so many people coming in. There's so many implementations we have to do. We don't have enough people. We don't have enough this. We don't have enough that. It's like, this is crazy. It will happen. It just takes a while. It's patience, I guess. So,
if anybody's listening, any requests for the audience, and then how do folks get in touch with you in the future?
LinkedIn is, I think, the easiest thing.
Okay.
Just
any asks, anything?
Any asks from me to everyone? Keep building, keep pushing. I think this is super important because at the end of the day, legal tech has gotten really into the limelight. There's money out there now. Go try to do something different. Law firms are keen to change. They're open to change. There's this big generational shift as well that really enables this. Just try and go. Just keep pushing.
Awesome, Phil. We're thrilled to have you in the portfolio. It's been
Thanks,
awesome to watch
this,
to watch Nexl grow, and you've put together an awesome team. Congrats on everything, and thanks for coming on for a few minutes.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, have a great one. Thanks everybody for joining.
Thank you.